From Anshei Sphard-Beth Emeth congregation, it's time to take 10 minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to our discussion of the 7 laws of Noah, or Adam. If we look at the Gemara in Sanhedrin, Daf Nun Vav Amud Aleph, that's 56a, it says that there were 7 laws that were given to the children of Noah, meaning really Gentiles. And they mention, of course, the 7 laws, the dinim, that have to have some sort of courts, perhaps according to Jewish law. Birkas Hashem, there can't be any blasphemy. Avodah Zarah, can't worship idols, let it believe in one God. Gilui Arayot, we can't have any immorality. Shvichut Damim, no killing, and no stealing, and no eating of live animals. So those are the 7 things. What is the source? Oh, the laws of Noah. It must come from Noah, right? This week's parsha is Noach, and after all, that says Shofech Dam Adam Damo Yishafech, the prohibition of murder seems to be there. So after all, it's got to be from our parsha, right? No. Quotes the very first conversation between God and man. Quotes that verse that says you should eat all that God commanded Adam and said, from all the trees you may eat, from the Eitz Hadat, from the tree of knowledge you may not eat. That's the source. How is that the source? Well, the various obscure sort of midrashic interpretation, like, well, Vayetzav, he commanded them, so that we see you have to have laws. He said, Hashem is, you're not allowed to blaspheme against Hashem. All types of very far-fetched sort of midrashic interpretations. So you have this idea that Adam is the source of the 7 laws of Noah. Call it Noah, means for Noahites, people, children of Noah, meaning children of man. Man's children, many of them died. The only ones left were the children of Noah, so that's what we call it. The Rambam, for instance, codifies this. He says 6 things Adam was commanded, and he then says that Noah received the one about eating the limb of a living thing, that Avram and Achai. That was Noah, because after all, Adam wasn't eating anything living anyway, so he wasn't supposed to eat. He's supposed to be vegetarian, so he doesn't need to worry about eating from living animals. But Noah, since he's permitted to eat the animals, he has an additional law of not eating live animals. So this becomes the normative sort of way of thinking about it. But as we mentioned, it's a very midrashic kind of an interpretation. And in fact, there are other midrashic sources. The Tanchuma and Yitro, one particular edition, it says, La'adam natata lo mitzvah achat, leNoach ubanav shesh mitzvot. Adam, you gave 1 mitzvah, and Noah and his children 6 mitzvahs. So indeed, they are the laws of Noah, according to the Tanchuma. Apparently in the Sefer V'Hizir, it also says same thing. So there is a possibility of it being more of the laws of Noah, not the laws of Adam instead of the laws of Noah. Or maybe the laws of Noah instead of the laws of Adam. Now, the Kuzari, that's Rabbi Yehuda HaLevi, lived in the Middle Ages in Spain. So he says, well, it's really just a way to remember. I mean, this verse about you should eat from the fruits of the trees, this verse is just a hint. There's something called asmachta. Sometimes we have a midrash, we say, this is what the verse means. I mean, we say that a beautiful fruit is an esrog, that's what it means. We should take on Sukkos, that's what the Torah meant. But there are other times when the midrash is very loose, and it's really just a way of remembering. What's the mnemonic for the 7 laws of Noah? Well, you can remember it from this verse, Vayitzav, Hashem, Elokim, Al Adam, Lemor, Mikol Eitz Hagan Achol Tochel. Somehow that verse, in a very sort of tangential kind of way, can remind us of the 7 laws of Noah. So it's interesting that the Kuzari doesn't necessarily take it so seriously. So the question is, well, it's a good mnemonic, but why make the mnemonic from Adam? Why not make the mnemonic from Noah? After all, it seems that it was Noah who had all kinds of laws. So notice some of the different commentaries. Let's take a look at some of the different 19th century commentaries and what they had to say about this. So, for instance, you have the Netziv, Talis Yehuda Berlin, in his commentary, the Hemek Davar. So he says, Vayitzav, God spoke to him. What did God speak to him? Oh, it doesn't say. That we don't know. It's Torah Sheba'al Peh. It's like there's an oral tradition going way back. There was an oral tradition that indeed there were 7 laws of Noah. It's an oral tradition. It's not something that is written in this verse. That's not the point. The point is an oral tradition. That's how we know it. It's an oral kind of a tradition. The Malbim, also in the 19th century, he said, well, let's remember what this verse is talking about in the plain meaning. It's the verse of the tree of knowledge, that you should eat other fruits, not eat the tree of knowledge. So there is an idea here that it's that very first commandment that, yes, definitely, Adam did have a first commandment. Implicit in that commandment, if there's a God and he wants you to not eat from a certain fruit, that kind of implies all sorts of morality. In other words, you could have all of the Torah, all of morality, just from that one law. In other words, if I have a child and I say to him, you can do whatever you want, but you can't write on the wall, that's enough to establish that there's a father, there's authority, there are things that are right and wrong, and just based on that one rule, you can have a disciplined child. So he knows he can't write on the wall, right? So to a human being who's told, you cannot eat from this fruit, it implies all the other laws. That's what the Malbim makes me sort of think about. Another 19th century figure, the Rabbi Epstein, the Torah Jemima, he says, well, how do the rabbis know about this? He says, because it applies to all the umot. It does. Why does it apply? He says the rabbis figured this out because it applies to the essentials, fundamentals of the establishment of the world and society. And without them, or with anything the opposite of these things, you have destruction and the end of all flesh, as we see here in the story of Noah. So the rabbis said, well, let's connect it to this verse to be connected here. The rabbis, that's one of their jobs, is to connect oral ideas and traditions to the written text of the Torah. The Rambam also says that it gives sort of a logical reason why these things are the commandments. He says, he doesn't quote that verse with Adam. He just asserts that it's Adam. He says it's really a Kabbalah biyadenu. It's a tradition. We just have that tradition. We just know what the 7 laws are. It doesn't say anywhere. We have a tradition. Moshe Rabbeinu, it's a tradition from Moses. Vadat no telahem. It makes sense too. No, it's a tradition, and who could disagree? What, you're supposed to steal, you're supposed to kill, right? You're supposed to do immoral sexual acts. It's clear. So, but Michlal Divrei Torah Yiresh al Elun stuff. It seems from the Torah that we were commanded about. So there's some sort of hint in the Torah. What could be a hint? Might suggest, well, why was Cain somehow punished for killing his brother? It must be that it was understood from the time of Adam, not the time of Noah, but the time of Adam, that you don't kill your brother, you don't kill anybody. Why were the generation of the flood, why were they destroyed? We have a principle, in Onshin Elin Kain Mazir. You can't punish somebody unless you warn them. They must have had a warning, they must have had a mitzvah not to do all the corruption, violence, stealing, immorality, idolatry, whatever they did. So clearly they must have been warned. Now, one could have suggested something else. And years ago, I wrote an article in the YU Journal about this. You could suggest that, what do you mean? The laws came after the flood. There was a human experiment. Could everyone understand all of morality from one mitzvah? No, it didn't work. From one punishment. They were banished from the garden from one punishment. Could there be a world without laws? We have it in our hearts. Hadat no telem, right? The Rambam says it's obvious that we should do all these things. So can we do it? And the answer is it was an abysmal failure. The human being without laws was an abysmal failure. We need laws. We need guidance. We need principles. We need absolutes to understand what can and cannot be done. Our society is certainly challenged. We wonder about some of these absolutes and how absolute they are. Religious people are not floundering on this. We understand what the basic principles are. It's hadat no telem. It makes sense. It's pretty obvious. The suggestion, however, by the rabbis, that no, it wasn't that way. There must have been laws from the very beginning, suggests on the one hand that it's just like we said, since the human being from his soul, from the Tzelem Elokim, what is Tzelem Elokim? What is the image of God that we understand these laws? We understand it's wrong to kill. Cain knew it. He felt guilty. He wasn't going to tell God all about it. He wasn't going to boast about it. It's something natural. So on the one hand, it's something natural. So the rabbi said, well, these laws which are natural, they're not just natural understandings of a human being, but it's a law. And then the rabbis are saying something else. They're saying, we can't envision a world in which it's not understood explicitly that there are laws. In other words, we refuse to accept the idea that there was a period of time where God left us lawless. No. We Jews are so connected to the idea of mitzvah that it's good for us to know what we have to do, what we shouldn't do, we're not allowed to do, that the idea that God left the world without any commandment, especially after the Garden of Eden, is inconceivable. And the rabbi said, it's not the laws of Noah, it's the laws of Adam. It's got to be back from then. There must have been a clear and explicit sense from the very beginning that these things cannot be done. Because at the very underpinnings of what it means to be human, what it means to imitate God, to have a soul, to be in the image of God, it's all part of that. It must be from the beginning. However, we mentioned that other midrashic tradition, Midrash Tanchuma, Yisro, that seems to imply that no, there's only one law, idolatry. If we know there's a God and a good God, it covers everything. The other explicit laws were only because of the failings of human being. We failed to be able to extrapolate the laws from the existence of a good God. We needed to have specific laws. Two views. One, that man without laws, lost. Second view, it's conceivable. The human being is so imprinted with these laws in their heart, they don't really need it. It was only because of human failure. And this failure of the generation of the flood, that was the only reason that we needed to bring the laws, only came after Noah. So in the end, two possibilities, the laws of Adam, the laws of Noah. We call them the laws of Noah. It's been codified in the Rambam. It's really the laws of Adam. It's so fundamental from the very beginning, the very first words that God uttered to the human being. Don't do these 7 things. It's imprinted in our soul, in our human memory, in the laws coming down to us orally from Adam or from Moses. Because law and the human soul have to be in sync with that which is most despicable and then most inappropriate. Hopefully, our souls have not lost that sense of what's right and what's wrong. And hopefully, with the aid of these mitzvot, and now thank God with the Torah, the 613 mitzvot, we can be on the right path. We don't need to find our own way. We've been told, God is not doing this to any other nation. He's given us a very direct path, a path to be a good person. Thank you for joining us here at the Anshei Sphard-Beth Emeth congregation for a discussion of the laws of Noah. Join us each week for a discussion of the Parsha and the various holidays. We thank Jason Lefkowitz, our producer. Thank you.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein. To learn more, visit asb.org.